I am at the Whole Enchilada mountain bike race here in Charlotte, North Carolina, specifically the U.S. National Whitewater Center. I did the half enchilada, which they said was 24 miles, ended up being a little bit more, but had an amazing time. I'm gonna go through what I did wrong on this race, what I did right, and then kind of go through what happened during the race. My first mistake, starting with the first wave, even though this is my first endurance race. It was a mistake, but the reason why I did it was because my friend Ben, who is a seasoned XC endurance athlete, I knew he was gonna want to start in the first wave. And he's a YouTuber as well, so I figured maybe we could meet up and do a collaboration. Didn't end up happening, but that was my motivation for doing that first wave, which was not a good idea. Doesn't feel like a race right now. It'll get spaced out. I did not warm up. This is my warm up. Don't like hitting brakes on downhill. You could have used that energy just getting rid of it for no reason. It is a cool day, 40 degrees. Which leads me to my second mistake, which is going out too fast. When you have guys behind you passing you because you started in the wrong wave, it kind of pushes you to think that you should be going that fast, even if you hadn't trained to go that fast. So that was a big mistake. What happened was 5.5 miles in, I ended up getting nauseous and I had to stop for maybe 20 seconds or so, recalibrate, and continue on the race. So nauseated. I had to stop about 5.5 miles in. Started getting nauseous. Because I went out too hard. The next one may or may not be a mistake. It's training. This is just outside of what my training has prepared me to do, which is good, which is actually why I wanted to do it, so that I can kind of push myself and have a reason to motivate myself to ride longer and put in those miles as part of my training. Yoo-hoo! Might actually pass people if there was more downhill. The last one's also kind of a plus or minus mistake. My bike, if you want to be competitive in this sort of race, you don't want to be riding a 34-pound, 170mm travel enduro bike. But I'm not trying to be competitive out here. I'm just trying to, have fun and put in the miles and train. So, it would be a mistake to use this bike if you wanted to be competitive out here.
That's a sick bike, man.
Oh, thank you.
Big bike for this race.
It really is.
Sick nonetheless.
So now on to the things that I actually got right. So one of them, surprisingly, is nutrition. And it's surprising because this is my first endurance race. I'll share with you what I did and why it was so good. So a couple of things I did, for example, when I ate breakfast and how much water I brought were thanks to Ben. So thank you, Ben Duro, for those tips. So I ate breakfast about 2 hours before the race, and I had a peanut butter and jelly sandwich on 100% whole wheat Dave's Killer bread. And I packed my hydration pack with about 16 ounces of water per hour that I was expecting to be out here. So Basically 3 16-ounce bottles is what I ended up bringing, and I finished that water just after I finished the race. So that ended up being perfect, didn't end up carrying any extra weight. I also had a bottle on my bike, about 8 to 10 ounces. Put a noon tablet in it, which is this electrolyte tablet, and a very small amount of creatine in it, and I kind of sipped on that throughout the race. I also brought goo packs, specifically the Roctane goo packs, and I brought 3 of them, taped them to my top tube, and I had about one every 45 minutes to an hour or so, and that ended up being perfect as well. Let's talk about butt stuff. Specifically chamois cream. A lot of people like that butter stuff, but I feel like it's just like putting lotion on your tush right before your ride, and I don't really see how that helps. I use Vaseline, and I feel like it provided protection and actually helped me during the ride, and my chamois were pretty decent. The pad is just like not quite in the right place, so I did have to maneuver and pull it into the right place every once in a while because my bubble butt. But yeah, that was a win. Vaseline over butter. Another win was my mindset. I was so grateful to God to be out here, having the health to be able to do this race and being able to enjoy these beautiful trails, beautiful conditions, and I think my mindset was very healthy and positive for this race. So let's switch gears to what actually happened during the ride. So like I said, started with wave 1, started out too fast, ended up getting nauseous at 5.5 miles, had to stop, recalibrate, and decide if I wanted to finish this race, I had to go at a slower pace. I had to go at my pace. My GoPro ended up dying about halfway through the race, about mile 13. But before that happened, I kind of locked in with another guy who was about the same pace as me, and we kind of had fun, and we're kind of going back and forth and chatting and riding together, and that was kind of fun to lock in with somebody like that. Where is my shuttle? Where is my shuttle? What's your name, bro?
Gary.
Tyler.
What's your name?
Tyler.
Tyler, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I'm not a climber, Tyler, so
Yo,
if you go by, just yell.
I found my people.
Thanks. We got ourselves a climber.
We got ourselves a climber.
Tyler, you want to go by?
I don't know, we're going about the same pace.
Going by, bud.
All right. Making me pedal more?
Yeah, I don't need to do it, man. You're younger.
All right. Fair enough. He was kind of struggling with some anxiety about some climbs that were coming up, and I was like, I don't know what's coming up, and I'm actually happy about it. I think that actually helped not knowing what was coming up. I did end up having to walk a few climbs, and part of the reason was because at mile 16.5, especially on the climbs, my quads just started cramping up big time. The steepest climbs, for that reason, I had to walk my bike up a couple times, not too many times. Honestly, walking the bike up, I was going just about as fast as the people who were riding up, so I didn't really lose too much time there. So online, the half enchilada says it's supposed to be 24 miles, and I remember distinctly passing a 24-mile marker and being like, okay, where's the end? And it ended up being, you know, a couple miles longer than that.
There you go, have some fun.
Also, towards the end of the race, my knee started reminding me of an injury about 1.5 years ago. Thankfully, there's no major internal derangements like ligament tears or meniscus, anything like that, but it just likes to remind me that it's there, and I just deal with it. It wasn't that big of a deal. And then for that final push to the finish line, I tried to turn my GoPro on, and I think I got the footage. I don't know. I think the battery just saved just enough for me to film that last push. Hopefully, we'll see. And then after the race, I went back to my Airbnb, which was 5 minutes away, and took a quick shower, came back, got some tacos, checked my results, which, drum roll, I ended up finishing the race in 3 hours and 4 minutes, which was 41st in my age group, and I think 96th or 97th overall. I'm happy with that. My first endurance race on a big old bike. Not too bad. After checking my results and eating some tacos, I walked over to this bench that I'm sitting on right now and decided to film this for you. So please like and subscribe. Stay healthy, mind, body, and spirit. I'll see you in the next one.